Hi there, it's Tracy here from the Papercraft Studio. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you how to make these cute little handbags, like mini handbags. I've got them with a Velcro fastening. As you can see in there, you could pop some money, some jewellery, some little mini eggs for Easter. It's got that little finish on the side. So it's super cute, and it's only kind of 2 by 2 inches. So really sweet little gift bag, I guess. So all you need is a piece of designer series paper. I'm using Like an Animal Speciality designer series paper from the mini catalogue that's about to retire. It may have retired by the time this video goes out actually, but you can use any papers for this. And this piece is 6 inches by 4 inches, and then you need a coordinating strip for the handle, which measures 3/16 of an inch by 4 inches. If you don't mind it being slightly wider, you could do 1/4 of an inch if you find that easier, but I just wanted it to be quite a slender handle. Sorry if you can hear my cat scratching the door in the background. Okay, I'm also using this Label Me Lovely punch to get that finish at the front. And I'm using, which I think these dots are following onto the new catalogue, Enamel Dot Essentials. So you get white crumb cake and night of navy dots in there. I love those. And then you'll need some Velcro dots if that's the finish you're using. If you have a tag topper punch, you could use that with maybe a brad for the fastening. And that's what I did when I designed this a couple of years ago. We used some different papers, but we don't have them currently, so this is what we're using for now. So I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored scoreboard, and I'm going to score this on the long side at 2 inches, at 2 3/4, at 4 3/4, and at 5 1/2. And then I'm going to turn it around to the shorter side along the top, and I'm going to score at 3/4 of an inch, 2 1/2 inches, and 3 inches. And then while I've got it here, to get these little lines in here, I'll show you. You can do it on your scoreboard, or I'm just going to show you with the stylus and a ruler. On here, I've got this section at the bottom, a bigger one, a small one, and another kind of small one at the top. So this is going to be the top. This is the flap over. This is the kind of edge of the bag at the top. This is the main body of the bag, and this is the base. So if you, let me fold this over. So I'm folding down on the second score line here. In fact, let's fold all the score lines first. It'll make it easier to see. Oops, that's not my bone folder. That's a ruler. So fold on all of these score lines. This paper is quite thick, so you need to burnish it quite well and just kind of show it who's boss. If you've got regular DSP, designer series paper, you might just need to be careful that you don't crack it if you use a bone folder, so just be a little bit more gentle. But this one can handle it. Okay, here and here. Okay, so that's all the scoring done. So like I say, you've got these 2 smaller sections at the top, a main section, and then a small section at the bottom. So fold the 2 sections at the top away, and on these side pieces here, the smaller pieces, you've got 2 and then a smaller 2 inch and then a smaller. You're going to just, either with a pencil or with a excuse me, stylus, or you can just do it on your grid actually. You're just going to find the halfway point, and you can just eyeball it if you want to. Just eyeball it there and there if you want to. And then what we're going to do, just open that back out, and from that point that we've marked, you're going to score down to this corner here in the same section. Okay, so we're just creating a little V on there. So I've just gone halfway between that point there, and again this one down to that corner, and this one down to that corner. Okay, we don't need to fold those at the moment. We're going to do some cutting first. So there's quite a lot to take off the top of this bag. We only want these 2 sections here, so we're getting rid of all of that here, okay, which looks a bit scary. That will go, okay, but we'll cut at the same time together, and it will become apparent. So this is the bottom here. So this little skinny kind of corner here, you're just going to take away altogether. So just get rid of that corner there. And then on each of these other score lines, you're just going to cut up to that next score line. So straight up here, here, and here. And then we're going to pop our flower pots in. Now, I think this is unique to me, flower pots. Other people call it notching in. But what I mean by flower pots is you're going to cut in from the bottom up to that corner there. And when we do that on both sides, it looks like a little flower pot. So that's why I call mine flower pots. And you're going to do that on each of these tabs here. So come in slightly at the bottom and cut up into the corner. They don't all have to be perfectly, you know, symmetrical, but, you know, don't take too much off, but just a little slither on both ends. And again, on this end here. And then while we're just doing that on this, oh, actually, we'll take this whole piece out here. So turn it right the way around. So this is the base, this is the top. So this larger section here, this 2-inch section, you're going to cut down to that second score line. So you can see there, 1, 2, and then this whole piece here comes off, all of this, which is a bit scary, but this is what you want to end up with, okay? Let's put this underneath so you can see. That's what you want to end up with. So we're getting rid of this entire kind of 2 rows here. So be brave, this is right. It looks a bit frightening, but this is what you want to be doing. And you can take your time because it's quite hard cutting along a whole section there. So that's where we are at now. And then finally, on this little skinny end here, you're just going to, again, just take a little piece off of each end. So come in at the bottom and go up into that corner. So that's what you end up with. And then the way I've got this little fancy piece here, if you had a tag topper punch, you could just happily slide it in and, you know, all's good, but we don't anymore. So I'm taking my Label Me Lovely punch. And if you've got a punch that's slightly wider than 2 inches, perfect. Any of those will do. And we're taking this, so this is going to be the flap over. And instead of putting it in the end, like we normally would, that would take away a section. We want to take away just the edges, really. So I'm feeding it in from the inside of the punch here up to that end. So we want that to cut. Now you can see here it gets a little bit stuck sometimes. The way around that is to take your pick tool or any other sharp thing you have and just ease it in. I'm doing this left-handed, so it's not my favorite thing. You see it's just picked it up. Just have to lift it past some of those edges, and you don't want to go too far past where you see the edge disappearing because you really don't want to take too much off, and then you're going to just press down. So if you're not sure about that, have a little practice on some scrap because you don't want to waste your lovely papers. So that then just created that sweet little kind of edging there. Okay, now for these little triangle bits that we've scored here, you just want to, I found it easiest to put my kind of nail there and then just fold towards, sort of fold it back on itself and just reinforce those little diagonal folds there. Just make sure you're actually on the fold and not creating a new one. If you don't do this bit, it will still yield a bit when you go to put the box together and the little bag together. So don't worry if this is a bit fiddly for you. You don't have to do this bit. It's not essential, as it will kind of just happen. So that's kind of, you can see those creases now in there. Okay, so you want to flip it over, and on this little end here, we are going to put some tear and tape. So I folded it over. So on the good side of the paper, the right side of the paper, just going to put some tape along there. Okay, so that's the right side, that's the wrong side, and I've just flipped that over. On the wrong side, you're going to, so not the one right next to it, the long one just along from that, you're going to pop a couple of strips of tape on that one on the wrong side. Okay, so wrong side, right side, shiny side. Okay, leave the tape on this one. So this is the way up it is. Leave these bits of tape on, because when we fold it over to stick, that's all going to stick to that if you take those off. So what I do is you can just put this end over if you want, but I like to put the next tab over as well. So I've got 2 sections there over, and then this one will just fold over to meet that. Okay, so let's take this tape off here. And I need to apologize for how late I am getting these videos out. These are my March projects, and my daughter Bo, my youngest daughter, is quite ill at the moment, and she has been for about 2 months now. So we're just going to fold this over. She has a condition where she's just waiting for the final diagnosis, but it's a condition called POTS, which is postural tachycardia syndrome. And basically it means she's a bit allergic to gravity. So when she stands up, she often faints, or she'll feel really dizzy and she shakes a lot. And tremors are part of this syndrome that she has. So her blood doesn't travel around her body when she stands up. So when we stand up, our heart rate goes up by 10 to 15 beats per minute. Hers goes up by 40 because it's racing to try and get that blood around, which makes her feel faint, quite often faints. So she has to stand with a crutch now. She shakes. And one of the symptoms, unfortunately, is really bad fatigue. So I'm having to care for her a lot at the moment. She can't go to school very often. If she does, she can only manage 1 lesson a day. So it's really quite serious for her, but thankfully not life-threatening. She should hopefully grow out of it in about 5 years. But obviously that's a long time for a teenager to have to deal with this. So yeah, for the moment, I'm doing the minimum to keep things ticking over in my classes. And yeah, so that's why my videos are late. So I apologize, and you will be getting quite a few in the next few days, but just bear with me if you can, because obviously I have to put Bo first. Well, both of my girls, but Bo needs me at the moment. Okay, so at the bottom, you're going to put the small flaps in first, the small tabs, and then this one without the tape. And this one with the tape, I'm just going to show you before I stick it down. Just because we've done the flower pots, it will wiggle around a bit. So you just find that kind of central place there. You don't want it all over one side because it'll be a bit kind of skewy. So about there. So let's take this backing off. Yeah, so for Bo, there's no cure for this. There's no one treatment. So they need to find out how best to treat her. There's various medications that can help alleviate some of the symptoms. Stick that down. Yes, she's waiting for a appointment. We've got an appointment to start with at the cardiology department. So they need to start and they need to work out how best to treat it. So I don't think it's going to be an instant thing, sadly, but she's in the system, which is really good, and they should hopefully see her soon. Okay, so you can see here that's kind of pinched in. If you didn't fold the scores, that would naturally pinch in, and you could just kind of pinch that along. When you come to seal this, you don't want that really pinched in there. You need to leave that so that it lines up across the top there, so it's not really into its full potential there. Otherwise you'll have that whole piece coming over. It's coming out to there. I'm going to show you how I did this. So I got these from Amazon. It's a huge pack. I mean, I've had this such a long time, there's loads in there. And these, if you are ordering them, they are about, I'll probably do them in centimetres. Let's have a quick look. They are about, I think they're about a centimetre wide. Yeah. Maybe, oh, that's not centimetres, that's inches. Yeah, about a centimetre wide. Or if you use inches, that's about 1, 2, 3, about 3/8, I'd say, of an inch. So you get the rough one and the smoother one, whichever you choose, it doesn't matter first, but you're going to put one of them just on the inside lid near the top like that. Okay, you see where that is. And then the opposing one, so that was the scratchy one, this is the kind of more smooth one. I've taken it off so it's sticky on the back, but I'm not going to stick it here because I want to line it up exactly. And how you do that is you just put the fuzzy bit on top of the scratchy one there. So they're on top of each other. And then you're just going to fold this over, and don't press too hard because you'll crush your box, but just seal that there. Now if you just peel that back, that's going to come back again. So just gently put your thumbnail on the one that you want to stay. Just gently peel that back and then just give it a little squeeze once you've got it open, and then you'll be fine. It will open and shut, no problem. Okay, so with the little strip here, I've actually gone ahead and I've scored it at either end at quarter of an inch, I think that is. Yeah, a quarter of an inch. You see just there, and at this end as well, quarter of an inch. So that was 4 inches, and I've scored either end at quarter of an inch just to create that. And just to get it so that you've got a bit of a curve here. I mean, these are a bit battered because they've been in my class box for a while. Just gently give it a little curl with your bone folder. Now, don't go too crazy, otherwise it will go really curly, okay? So these bits are going to fold in like that on the inside of the bag. So I'm going to put a glue dot on. You could use ribbon, of course, if you wanted to here, but I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put a glue dot on the kind of wrong side of the paper, and you may need to fold it over a little bit because they might be slightly wider than the 3/16 that I've cut here. So on this little end piece of this strip, and then you're going to attach it to this piece here. So not to this top flap, but to this section underneath here, okay? So just pop one on here up to where I've scored it, and then bring it round the outside of the bag and attach this other end there. Mine hasn't gone quite in place, but and just squeeze those glue dots, and then you have your little handle on there. And then finally, this is a really quick project, so you're just going to find whichever dot you'd like to finish off on here. So actually I'm going to go for the nice of navy this time, just to show on this one. Pop it on the front, so it's just like a little faux fastener. And there you have it, my Like an Animal little mini handbag. I hope you enjoyed making that with me. Take care, see you soon, bye.